Women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. So why does this happen? And is there anything that men can do about it? That's what we're going to be discussing here tonight live. So stick around for all of that and much, much more that's coming right. Live from Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. So that way, you won't miss a single thing when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. That is absolutely, positively correct. I'm here to help each and every one of you get the best possible grip on your life. So that way you can accomplish and achieve same thing, whatever it is that your heart desires. Isn't that what you want? Don't you want to make something out of yourself? Don't you want to accomplish something that's going to make you feel real good? And it's also going to make other people feel good as well. And hey, maybe you can turn it into a business and make some good money and make a living enjoying what you do while you help others at the same time. That is the best aspect of life. I forgot to turn my fan on, so it's not really too warm or too cold in my place. If I start to get a little hot, I may have to step away and turn on my fan. I like to have a little air flowing, but for right now, I feel pretty good. So we're just going to roll with it. Real quick, let me make sure that the notification has gone out, and it looks like it has gone out. And let me check YouTube Studio behind the scenes and see if it's rolling. And it looks like it's rolling well. Before we get to it, folks, I want to once again, what's what I'm trying to say, pay special props to this channel sponsor, Mr. Troy Brewer, who is the CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network. For all of your product and service needs from the most trusted professionals in the industry, please consider visiting www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. One more time, that's www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. You can also visit a subsidiary of the Discover Community Network known as the DCN Internet Radio Network. When you go on that website, you're going to find a bunch of talk and music internet radio stations, and more than likely, one of those talk or music internet radio stations will suit your genre needs. So if you like listening to talk radio and music throughout the course of your days, please consider checking out www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. One more time, www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. Both those links are below in the description, about a third of the way down. And if you go to either of those sites and you also look into how to connect with Troy, if you reach out to Troy by email, by phone, please make sure you make Troy aware that Coach Eli sends you with lots and lots of love, and make sure that you wish him a happy holidays from Coach Eli as well. All right, folks, before we get to it tonight, a side note regarding live streaming on YouTube. I started noticing yesterday when I tried to share a link in the chat, because I did a panel stream for my 47th birthday stream, which I did yesterday, a day after my birthday, because I had technical difficulties on the day of my birthday. And check out that stream if you haven't checked it out yet. I had a great panel of people. Furious Reactor Gaming was on the panel. He's here right now. Welcome to the show, bro. Mutt Nuts World was on there as well. We also had Lewis Fuller, and we even had Firewolf Studios, who I believe just went live shortly before I went live. So I don't know how long he's going to be live for. If I knew he was going live, I would have scheduled my stream around his, but maybe he's just doing a quick live and maybe he'll pop on in over here afterwards. It was a great show, so check it out. But I realized that YouTube and Google are now supposedly blocking links in live stream chats. Now, I use Nightbot, and I've had some pre-programmed messages through Nightbot, and Nightbot is still able to share links from messages I programmed Nightbot with before this change happened. Now, I don't know if YouTube and Google are allowing Nightbot, which is a third-party app you can use to help moderate your chats. I don't know if they're allowing Nightbot to continue to share links. So if I change up some messages through Nightbot and I add links, if it'll work, or are they just grandfathering, messages that I created before the change happened? And if I change up Nightbot, they won't even allow Nightbot to share links. But here's my take on what I think is going on. I think this is going to be a permanent thing. Just like YouTube removed, the go-to channel feature within live streams. You used to be able to go to another creator's channel while on a live stream chat. They removed that middle of last year or so. And there's been an extension created by someone called the go-to channel extension, which I use, which still allows you to go to people's channels, but you have to purchase that extension. It's not that expensive, and it only works through Google Chrome. I believe it does work on mobile on Android to a certain capacity, but it doesn't work on mobile for the iPhone. Regardless, they removed that. Now, apparently, it seems like they're also removing the ability to share links in your chat. Now, here's my take on this. I heard a bunch of other creators earlier today that were streaming mention the same thing, and they're not too happy about it. What are my thoughts about it? Am I happy about it? No, not really. But do I understand, or at least do I have an opinion on why I feel YouTube and Google are doing this, and do I understand why they're doing it? Here's my opinion. I think number one, first and foremost, what YouTube and Google are trying to do is keep people on YouTube as long as possible. And if you share links in a live stream chat that redirect you off of YouTube's site, then people are no longer on YouTube. They're not watching videos. They're not watching ads. They're not giving super chats, and YouTube and Google are not making money. So that's the main reason why I feel they did it. Additionally, another reason why I feel they did it is for a similar reason that they removed Hangouts on Air a little over a year ago. I believe this ended, I believe it was August of 2019. Now it's over a year later. You used to be able to run live stream panels through Google Hangouts on Air, which was integrated into YouTube, and it was real easy to bring up to 10 people on a panel. The reason why I feel, YouTube removed that and didn't bring back another version of that feature is because, there were a lot of hate streams created through Hangouts on Air. There were a lot of people on non-monetized channels that were using a lot of bandwidth and bringing on a bunch of people, creating content that was very hateful and inappropriate and not advertiser friendly. And they wanted to get rid of that. So I understood that. Now, I use OBS, so there are many different programs I can integrate into OBS to bring people on a panel. So no matter what they do, I'll always be able to bring people on through OBS, which is why I like using third-party software to create my own streams, because I have full control over what I can and can't do, including I can control the level of quality I want to stream out at. Whereas if you use Hangouts on Air, you're limited to 720p. If you use StreamYard, you're limited to 720p unless you purchase the Pro package, which will bump you up to 1080p. But then you have no control over what's called bitrate. And if you have a very fast internet connection like I do, a fiber line, and you want to stream at a higher bit rate than the recommended bit rate that YouTube suggests for better quality, you can only do that through OBS. So that's why I like having, OBS. I like using OBS and having a third-party piece of software. Now, so why do I think that YouTube is now not allowing links in addition to not wanting people to redirect off the platform? They don't want people sharing the StreamYard link or other, links into the chat to bring people on a panel. That's what I'm assuming. I'm just assuming. This is my opinion. Because think about it this way. If you want to create a decent show on YouTube, you're going to pre-plan for it beforehand. You're going to connect with people behind the scenes by email, through Hangouts chat, Facebook Messenger, maybe Discord or any other messenger program you use. And you're going to connect with people and pre-arrange a show that's going to have some substance, right? And you're also going to be able to share that StreamYard link through that messenger program or by email. What I've noticed, and this is true, it still happens to this day, I figured that getting rid of Hangouts on Air would get rid of all the hate on YouTube and these hate streams that many creators do. No, what did they do? They started using StreamYard and they started doing the same thing. They started sharing the StreamYard link in the chat, and anyone could pop on and they start popping off. And then next thing you know, it just creates hateful, inappropriate, senseless content that, YouTube can't even put ads on if they wanted to, because now YouTube is actually going to be putting ads on channels that are not monetized that have ad-friendly content. So that's one of the reasons why I feel they have removed the ability to post links in the chat. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go www.coach.eliasmelas.com, and I'm going to see if that even goes through. Nope, they did not let it go through. They did not let it go through. So I think that is the end of live stream links allowed on a YouTube live stream. I'm going to test Nightbot over the next few days and see if you can add links through Nightbot. But besides that, it looks like you can no longer go to other people's channels through a live stream chat on YouTube, and you can no longer share links. And here's the thing. You can still share links in the description of videos. And if they get rid of sharing links in the description of videos, I think you're going to see a lot of people leave YouTube. I don't think they're going to do that. But I think that the live streams, because they're so fast-paced, and I think what YouTube and Google want is to keep people on your live stream longer and engage with the creator, right? Instead of being distracted by links that are going to, force you to either go off the platform, or even if you share a YouTube link to another channel, you're going to be leaving that channel and going to someone else's channel. So that's the reason why I feel they did it. Do I like it? No. Am I upset about it? No, because I get why they're doing it. And there's a simple workaround to it, which is what we did yesterday, which is what I've always done anyway in the first place. Like I really don't, for the most part, I really don't open up my live stream chats, my live stream panels anymore to just anyone, because again, you never know what you're going to get. And if you're a monetized channel like me, you don't want to risk having someone come on and do something that's going to get your channel, stricken down or even terminated. So, yeah, no, Lewis, nobody can do it. I think it's becoming a permanent thing. So let me check out the chat here real quick, and then we're going to get to the first part of the show. I'll let you know how this is going to go tonight. Furious Gaming says, hey, everyone. Hey, Furious Reactor Gaming. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Muttnuts World. Hey, Eli and everyone. Muttnuts World says, hey, Will, bro. Muttnuts World, it's 31 here where I am in Maryland. I'll tell you right now what it is in Redwood City. It is 51 degrees. Climate best by government test. I'm not trying to show off, Mutt. I'm just letting you know what the weather is like out here. Muttnuts World, I am here till 10:30 Eastern. Have a special phone call to be on. Of course. You got your new lover to deal with, right? I get it. You got another hour. It's all good. It's It's 9:26 p.m. Eastern, 6:26 p.m. Pacific. Let's see what else is going on here. A lot of people have been saying they can't drop links, says Mutton Nuts World. That means YouTube and Google are making it permanent. And they're probably never going to come out and specifically state that you can no longer post links. They never came out and mentioned that they've removed the go to channel feature within live stream chats when they did it, the middle of, this year, about, what was it, about 5-6 months ago or so, something like that. Maybe a little bit longer than that, earlier on this year. So they're probably not going to say anything. We just have to all deal with it. And a lot of times they don't say things because they know creators are going to talk about it. And the more and more creators talk about these things, the more controversy it creates and the longer people stay on YouTube. YouTube knows a thing or two. YouTube and Google, they know a thing or two about marketing, wouldn't you think? They're one of the largest marketing companies in the world, Google, that is. And Google's the number 1 search engine in the world, and YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. And who owns YouTube? Google? Okay. You put 2 and 2 together and, figure it out yourself. It makes perfect sense to me. Furious Reactor Gaming. Hey, Eli. Hey, Will. How you doing, Furious Reactor Gaming? Mutton Nuts World. When I went live after your panel, I had Will, Lewis Fuller, Butterfly Jen, Superstar, and Alex, the Beer Master, not a Beer Master. Stop by. Alex, a Beer Master. That's a typo. I know, Mutt. I know. Man, I really wish Alex would have made my stream. I would have loved to have him on, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll have to go back and check out that replay later tonight. I'll probably do it while I'm taking an Epsom salt bath. All right. Firewall Studios says, hello, everyone. Hey, Firewall Studios. You went live just for a few minutes or so. I saw you go live a few minutes before I went live, and had I known that, I would have waited. But down the road, we'll figure it out. We'll integrate, or we'll communicate behind the scenes, so that way we can all live stream during different times to support each other's live streams. So my apologies on that, bro. I didn't know that you were going to be going live around that time. Not autocorrect, no problem. Good evening, host, says Lewis Fuller. Good evening, Lewis Fuller. Firewolf Studio says, hey, Lewis. Lewis Fuller says, hi, everyone in the stream. Welcome, Lewis. Furious Reactor Gaming says, hey, Lewis. Firewolf Studios says, hey, Eli, how are you doing? I'm doing quite well. How are you, brother? Did you place your order for your new case? Hopefully you did, or you'll be doing it soon, so you don't accidentally drop that new iPhone you have and it breaks on you. Got to get that protection, bro. It's like a condom for your phone, right? I got one. I got a clear one, and I also have something I suggest you get as well is a clear screen protector that will give you more protection from getting scratches on your screen and breaking as well. So that is that. I know my phone's a little dirty on the screen. I gotta do that, but there it is. You can even see it says, I don't know if you can even see that. It's even clear or not. Watch live, a grip on life. I know the focus, I use manual focus on I use a camcorder to do this with a capture card, the Elgato Camlink, and the focus is manually focused at this distance. So when I put something up close sometimes, like a smartphone, it's not gonna pick it up as clearly. So I'm not using autofocus, I'm using manual focus. You can see I'm completely in focus here. But anyway, all right. Let me finish through the chat, and then we're going to get to the first part of the show. You folks are going to love this. I'm going to share some personal stories here, and then I'm going to go take a break, and then I'm going to read a short blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today, on this topic. It's rather interesting, and I'd love to get your feedback in the chat, guys and gals. So, Lewis Fuller says, I can't input any links in the chat. Yep, that's the way it's going, it looks like. Firewall Studio says, that's right. I'm the same way, Eli. Cool. All right. Well, I was thanking everyone for supporting my channel. No problem, Firewolf. You can do that anytime. You don't owe me any explanation. I just, I try to not stream when my good friends and collaborative partners like you stream, but sometimes it happens, and It is what it is, but that's all good, man. I'll check out your stream afterwards. Yes, I did already. He said, okay, let's world. My life was a crazy fun time last night. We were a bunch of goofballs, LOL. That's great. Sometimes you just got to have a good time and have a lot of fun. That's what it's all about. All right, so let's get to the topic of the show. The topic of tonight's show is women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. Why this happens, and can men prevent it? One more time, women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. Why this happens, and can men prevent it? Can men prevent it? No. Absolutely not. No way. Impossible. I'll tell you why. I think you guys know exactly what I'm going to say, especially if you've been following me for a while. And I think Mutt and you ladies know what I'm going to say, again, especially if you've been following me for a while. The reason why is because women are emotional beings. That doesn't mean they're not capable of being logical. They are. But women were biologically made to be this way, where women respond to everything, every single thing emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. Let me repeat that one more time. Women biologically, so ladies, don't get upset about the biological facts about how you are. Women respond to everything, absolutely everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. So how in the world can guys prevent going out with a woman and her leaving him without notice or explanation, when a woman's emotions are always constantly in the present moment? And 1 minute they may love you, 5 minutes later, if the wind blows to the south instead of the north, they might get upset because of that and leave you for that. Now, that's kind of stupid. That's an extreme example, but you get the point. When you're dealing with a creature, we're creatures, we're human beings, right? When you're dealing with a female creature that's emotional all day, every day, and responds to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment, until you get to that present moment, and until they start feeling that way in the present moment after spending time with you, there's no way you can prevent it. You cannot prevent it, which is why many men have withdrawn from dating nowadays or getting serious with women, because they know women are biologically like this. And because the way the modern world is, with modern day feminism and women being empowered, which is not a bad thing, and because of the fact that women have more options nowadays, because they're working, they're making their own money, they're buying their own homes, their own cars, they don't need a man to survive. So if you're dating a woman nowadays, she can leave you for any reason at any time, even if you're a good guy, even if you're the absolute best possible fit for her. Let's say you're the most attractive guy physically to her, you're the best lover she's had, you make good money, you take her out hiking on the weekends, you take her to nice dinners, you cook, you go on nice romantic drives, you have great conversations, you communicate regularly by phone when you don't see each other instead of just texting. You can do all of that right. You could do all of that right and be exactly what she wants and exactly what she's attracted to. And you can be with that woman for 10 years. And one day after your 10-year anniversary, like I said earlier, this is an extreme example. I'll use it again because it can't happen. One day after your 10th anniversary, the wind blows to the south instead of the north, and she gets a different feeling and no longer wants to be with you. And nowadays, women won't even tell you that they don't want to be with you anymore. They won't even make you aware. They will just leave, and then they will block your number on your phone. They'll block your email. and they'll ghost you and they'll move on. It's one thing to be with someone for a while and then not feel like being with them anymore. But then at least you tell them, hey, look, this is not working out for me anymore. I don't think we should see each other anymore. At least, you have a mature conversation and you have a civil breakup instead of leaving the guy hanging. But why do women do this nowadays, right? Why do they do it? Because if you are that perfect guy and you've done nothing wrong, they really have no reason to break up with you over. So they feel guilty. So why are they breaking up with you? Because there's another reason. There's another reason why women would break up with a good man. And I've got some examples I'm going to share with you here right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share a couple of examples right now of some situations that I was in. There's a relationship in the past I have never talked about online. I'm going to briefly talk about it. I'm going to make you folks aware what happened, and it pertains to this topic exactly. And then there's something I haven't even mentioned. I actually was starting to see someone. It was about almost 2 months ago. And now we're no longer seeing each other. And everything was going great. Everything was perfect, per se. Nobody's perfect, but you know what I'm saying. I'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to share these two stories. Then what I'm going to do is take a quick break, come back, share two more stories, and then get to this short blog before we wrap things up. Let me check out the chat here real quick, and then I'll get to the first story. Eli, I know that's the truth. What are you talking about, bro? There was at one time where I didn't trust women at all. Well, bro, here's the thing. It's not that we don't want to trust women as men. Women are emotional beings. They respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. In the modern world, it's much more harder to deal with that because women have more options. Women have always behaved this way. But if you go back to the days where women didn't have the same rights that men have had, right? Where women were not working and they were dependent on a man for survival, right? They would seek out and find a strong man and they would stick with that man because they didn't want to risk. They didn't want to risk being able to find somebody new by giving up someone they already have. They didn't want to risk their survival, right? Well, nowadays, women are liberated. They're making their own money. They're getting college degrees. They're making lots of money. They're buying their own homes, their own cars. So they don't need a man for survival. So when you're dating women nowadays, because they can fend for themselves and they pay their own way, they'll leave just like that. Again, even if you're the perfect guy, you can be the best looking guy. You could be the best lover. You can take her out on dates, hiking, dinners, nice drives, great conversation. You can be communicative. You can be open, emotionally open and aware. You can be the perfect dude and they'll still leave. So I'll tell you, let me share these two stories here and you'll hear what I think happened. I don't know what happened for a fact, but this is what I assume happened with these two women. One I dated in the past for a little over a year, and a recent relationship I was, starting to get into. And it basically ended. Both of these relationships ended in the same way. They ended with me being ghosted. But not for the reasons you think. Firewolf says, or Mutton's World says, Firewolf, I went through the same thing where I don't trust guys, and I thank God for putting the guy I'm dating now in my life. Mutt, enjoy it. but you never know. You gotta keep your eyes and ears open, and don't get too caught up, because you never know what's going to happen. Give me a second here. Okay. Sorry, I just got a notification I was waiting for. Good. Lewis said, so he can make her a moderator. Lewis Fuller, Mutt Nuts World, I am going to share my sister's YouTube link on your Facebook so you can hear it out to Coach Eli. Yeah, I'll listen. Do me a favor, Mutt. If you have Lewis Fuller on Hangouts, can you add him to the Grip on Life Coach Eli group moderator chat? And if he's not on Hangouts, can you get me his sister's link in the Hangout, the link to her channel, and I will go ahead and moderate her right now so she can come in the chat and chat. No problem at all. No problem. All right, let's get to the first story here. So, I just got a Hangout message. Okay, there it is. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Boo-doo-boo-boo-doo-boo-doo-boo. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Give me just a second here. All right. Adelaide's advice addict. We'll add her right now. If you just give me a second, I have to go into YouTube Studio. I'm doing this while I'm live and running a bunch of things, but I'm going to do it. Hopefully nothing will crash. My system's pretty good. It typically runs quite well. All right. I'm putting in her channel right now. Adelaide's advice addict. Give me just a second for it to save. All right. Yeah, Lewis, let your sister know that she can come in the chat. The wrench should be working. She should be able to chat. She's welcome to chat here free of charge indefinitely. No problem at all. No problem at all. All right. So here's the story. Let's get right to it here. Okay. So I was dating this woman a while back, and I met her. We hit it off. I will not date a woman that doesn't like hiking or loves the outdoors, camping, has some sense of adventure, or basically just loves the outdoors. This woman really, really loved hiking, and so we would go hiking on the weekends. We would spend some weeknights together, sometimes at her place, sometimes at my place. They had a good time. And she was physically attracted to me. I was physically attracted to her. The sex was great. It was consistent. It never died. When we'd go away on weekends, it would happen all the time. When I was at her place, it would happen. When I was at my place, it would happen. We would communicate regularly. We would talk by phone for half an hour or so, or an hour each night before bed if we weren't spending that night together. Everything was great. Everything was great. She knew my family. I knew her family. Everything was great. And shortly after a year of being with her, she came over to my place. And then we went out to, I think, take a walk that day or something. It wasn't a hike, it was a walk. And I went to put my hand on her knee to rub her knee, her thigh, like I always had, to show her, I'm happy to see her. I missed her. Like I wanted to give her that sexual energy and that energy that we're bonding, right? And she like said, can you just, slow it down? Like, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, is everything okay? Like that's the first time that happened. Like, she's telling me, she's like, slow it down. Like she didn't want me to rub her knee. Like for a year plus, we were always very affectionate, and we spent lots of time together. We did lots of great things together. Everything was smooth, right? I wasn't complacent. She wasn't complacent. We made effort for each other. But this one day, I go to put my hand on her thigh, and she didn't want that. I'm like, okay, fine. We went and took a walk. We had a great conversation. We then went to dinner, and we had a good dinner. But towards the end, she was starting to say, I'm not feeling too good. But she seemed fine. I mean, I didn't see she didn't seem like she was sick or anything. I offered her some aspirin and she said she didn't need any. She just said she's not feeling well. Well, now I understand why she wasn't feeling well, and it wasn't because she was sick. We'll get to that in a second. But, give me a second, I need to clear my throat. But, at the end of dinner, I was packing up the leftovers to bring back to my place so we can have some food to snack on. We would come back to my place, snuggle in bed, turn on the TV, and we got a little hungry after dinner. You get that midnight snack, right? So we come back to my place and, get ready for bed. And I went to go hold her and hug her and kiss her and everything we would do to always initiate, to be intimate, have great sex and all that. And she's like, I'm not feeling good. Can you please? And I tried to hold her again because I was just sensing something was off, right? It was just a natural instinct. She's like, please, I'm not feeling that well, So and then I asked her, I said, what's wrong? And when I asked her what's wrong, she said, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to go sleep on your couch. So she gets up out of bed, instead of telling me what's wrong, goes to my couch, right? I'm sitting in my bed thinking about what the hell's going on here. Like, what, I've done nothing wrong, right? I've done absolutely nothing wrong. So I went over to the couch and I said, hey, can we talk about this? I really want to talk with you about this. I want to see what's going on. She goes, you know what? I'm just going to go home. I said, wait a minute. What did I do? Can you at least tell me what I did? I'm trying to be cool about it, right? I'm just going to go home. I'm not feeling that well. I'm just going to go home. She gets her stuff, walks out, drives home, texts me saying she made it safely. And from that point, I never heard from her again. I actually gave her a couple of days to breathe. So I did not text her to try to arrange a phone call to talk with her for a couple of days. I tried texting her a few days after that, and she never responded. Never heard from her since. Don't know why she was feeling the way she was feeling. I'm going to assume what it was, and I'll share my thoughts in a second. But I don't know what her reason was, why she was feeling the way she was feeling. She would not communicate that with me. I tried to ask her, because we've always communicated, and communication's always been important, but she wouldn't tell me. Here's what I think what's going on. I think an ex-boyfriend came back in the picture from the past that she still had an emotional attachment to, was able to woo her back into the way he made her feel back in the days when she was with him. And she was trying to figure out whether she wanted to stay with me or go with him. Because I've done nothing wrong. I was doing the same thing. I put my hand on her thigh when she showed up as a term of endearment to show her I still care about you. I'm attracted to you. I love being with you, right? And she didn't want that. She was cranky at the dinner table. She didn't tell me what was going on. She didn't want any aspirin or anything. Get back to my place. She didn't want me to snuggle with her. She was saying she's not feeling good. She went to the couch. I went there to try to talk with her and see what's going on. I said, hey, I want to be there for you. What's going on? Right? Let me help you out. Like, we've been together for over a year. And she just walks out with no explanation. Tells me she made it home safely, like I said a second ago. And gave her a couple days to breathe. Didn't text her. I gave her a couple days. Wanted to see if she'd reach out to me first. She didn't reach out. I then tried to reach out and say, hey, can we talk? And she never got back to me. Never heard from her since. And again, if I was a horrible boyfriend, I could understand. But like I said, I was very communicative with her. I gave her plenty of space when she needed space. She gave me space, but we would spend weekends together, go hiking, go to dinners, take romantic weekend getaway trips. Sometimes I'd spend the night at her place. Sometimes she'd come to my place. It was consistent. The sex was great every time. There was never a problem, either one of us initiating it. We had never turned the other person down until this night. So how can you sit here and tell me that this had been building up for a long time when I never did anything wrong and everything was great? No. What happened is, in my opinion, some other guy from the past, or either some other guy, new guy, or some guy from the past, wooed her, got in her head, and basically made her feel confused to the point of where she didn't want to be with me anymore, where she felt a stronger connection with him. That's why I feel it's an ex that, kind of weaseled his way back into the picture. This is what guys deal with. And it sucks because, you're investing time because you want to be with someone, have a life with someone. And even if you do everything right, like I said, if the wind blows south instead of north one day, they can leave you for that. In this case, I think another guy, started talking with her from the past and got into her head, into her emotions. And when she was around me, she was thinking about him and how much she probably still loves him. And then it basically, anytime I try to do with her what we have for that past year, it basically annoyed her, even though I did nothing wrong. Furious Reactor Gaming says, I hated being ghosted. It was the worst feeling because I don't know what I did wrong. And a lot of times, bro, a lot of times men are not doing something wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where men do wrong things. And if you do something wrong, you need to own it. But when I know you're a good guy, Will, Furious Reactor Gaming, and I'm a good guy too. I know for a fact I did nothing wrong. I was a good guy to her. I enjoyed her company. And I made lots of effort. And she made effort for me too. But for something to shift 180 degrees in less than a day after the previous year was as close to perfect as possible. Nobody's perfect, nothing's perfect, but this was as close to perfect as possible. We were both well balanced and we both understood each other. And the sex was great, conversation was great. We both loved hiking. We both loved the same type of food. I can sit here and say I don't get it, but I do get it. Women are emotional beings. Women respond emotionally to everything based on how they're feeling in the present moment. That's what happened to her. Somebody else or something else got in her head, took over her emotions to the point of where what she was having with me, was too much for her. She didn't want to be a part of it anymore, no matter how good it was. Now, typically women won't give something up like that unless there's something better, with a backup plan or an alternate plan. So I don't know. Maybe this guy from the past came in and, offered her the world, and maybe she ate it up. I don't know. But let me share one more story here before I take the first break. So I was mentioning a second ago that recently, a couple months ago, I met this really, really cute and what seemed to be a nice and sweet Latin woman, early 40s, had one 12-year-old daughter, divorced, but, she, we talked and she seemed to be in a good place. And we ended up meeting one night in her area. She lives about a little less than an hour from me in the East Bay area. And I met her, and there was instant chemistry. We were making out, we talked, we made out every now and then. If you can make out on the first date, at least you know the woman's attracted to you and you're attracted to her. We didn't sleep together on that first date, but we made out, we had a great conversation. And I said, hey, look, you know what? I haven't gone away in a long time. You want to go away for a weekend? And she liked hiking as well, right? So for the next month, I went away with this woman for 3 weekends out of the 4 weeks in that month. And we went hiking in different areas. We went to some nice dinners. Restaurants at that point were opening back up. You just had to wear a mask. Now I think they're going to start closing down again temporarily because they're kind of they're definitely bringing back the COVID restrictions because of the sudden spike in cases until they get everyone vaccinated. But yeah, we'd go to nice dinners, we'd get a room, and we had amazing sex, great intimacy. It was incredible. We had great conversations. We would talk along the way to where we were going and had great conversations, music in the background. It was fantastic. And it was interesting to me that after the third time that we spent a weekend together, she has a 12-year-old daughter, and her ex, who's remarried to another woman, a younger woman, typically would take, her daughter, which is his daughter too, during times when she was, going away or doing something like hanging out with me, right? And when we were driving back that third time we spent a weekend together, she was texting him back and forth. She was getting very irritated because, like he would leave, her and his 12-year-old daughter alone at his place. And he would go into work early when he didn't have to, instead of spending time with her daughter or with his daughter. And she was getting really annoyed. And I'm like, well, she can handle it. She's 12 years old. It's not like she's a baby, right? You got to have some faith in her. And, she was just getting really, really irritated at this guy. And I started to, throw up some red flags right there, right? Let me see the chat real quick before I continue. One that's world. Well, bro, if you remember, my ex did that to me. Oh, your ex ghosted you? Go figure. That's what people do nowadays. People nowadays have no balls and they have a lack of consideration for other people's feelings. The people are freaking selfish as hell. Let me tell you, what goes around comes around. You're only going to get what you give. The way you treat people is the way that you're going to be treated down the road. And like I always say, karma has no deadline. And when you mess with the bull, what happens? What happens? You tell me in the chat when you mess with the bull. You tell me what happens, right? You know what it is. I'll just say it. When you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Yeah, Firewolf sent me something behind the scenes to read. He says, yeah, I remember one of my exes, I was with her for 3 years and she ghosted me. And a few days later, I caught her having sex with another guy. Yeah, go figure, right? Fine. You want to go have sex with another guy? Break up with me first. Tell me that, hey, it's not working out. You don't have to tell me you're going to go bang another guy, which we all know you're going to go do that anyway, right? But why don't women have the balls to break up with guys anymore? Now they just ghost, right? It's pathetic. It's pathetic, right? And sometimes men do it too. Sometimes men do it too, and they don't want to deal with the emotional repercussion. I get why they do it. But if you've been with someone for 3 years, I feel like you owe that to them, or they owe it to you. Like if you've been with somebody, for a few weeks or so, okay, I can kind of understand that. This lady and I, we were basically hanging out for about a month and a half, and she wanted a relationship, right? So what happened? Let me tell you what happened, right? So Nuts World says, I get horns, not I. Oh my God, I can't type. It's okay. Yep, and so did this last ex for 5 weeks. Okay, some people are like that, Mutt. What I meant to say was that you mess with a bull, you get the horns. I don't know why I can't type it. Don't worry about it, Mutt. It's okay. So here's what happened. This woman had told me early on when we started to see each other that she's going to be going to Texas to visit family in about a month. I said, okay, we can hang out in the meantime and hang out when you get back. She's like, yeah, no problem. She's going out to visit family. I think her brother lives out in Texas and some other family, right? And after the third time we saw each other, when this incident was happening between her and her ex-husband, and her ex-husband not doing his part, taking care of their daughter, which I don't know whether to believe that or not, based on what happened here between this lady and I. The following week, she was going to be going to Texas for a couple of weeks with her mother, and I think another family member, her mother and her daughter. They're going to be driving out there and driving back. So her and I, we talked by phone. Once we got back from that weekend, it was a Sunday. We talked, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And then Friday, I believe, too, because she was leaving on Saturday. And when it came to Friday, she was telling me that, I got to tell you something, and I don't know how you're going to take this. I really like what we have, but, my ex, I've been trying to, I wanted to move to Texas, she said, because it's much cheaper to live there, which is true, than where she lives in the Bay Area. Okay. She lives in the East Bay. And I talked with my ex, and he's not ready to make the move to Texas. And, it's going to be much cheaper for myself and my daughter. And, I want my daughter to have her father and yada, yada, yada. I said, so your ex contacted you and said he's ready to move to Texas. And because your ex, that's your ex per se, is ready to move to Texas, you're now going to drop everything and move to Texas and give up. Now, I understand we've only been together a little over a month, but, we've shared some great times together, and you've told me how you feel and you enjoy my company and this and that. What's really going on here? There's something you're not telling. And she's like, no, that's all it is. I said, is he splitting up with his wife? No, they're still together. I said, are you sure about that? I told her, I said, it's kind of hard for me to believe that all of a sudden, out of the blue, your ex is ready to move, to Texas. And then all of a sudden, you had a trip planned to go to Texas for 2 weeks. And you tell me a day before you go to Texas, or a little over a month after we started spending time together, that not only are you going to Texas, now your ex has finally decided that he's ready to move to Texas. And now, I'm probably going to do that. I still want to make it work between you and I, and I'm still willing to come and fly out and see you once per month. What a load of crap this woman was feeding me. Now, she's not a bad person. She was just emotionally all over the place. Because we did have great times, great sex, great company, same thing. I treat any woman I'm with, I treat them well, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, right? And she knows she was attracted to me. I was attracted to her. She knows I'm a good-looking guy that has my stuff together. I am the kind of guy that takes her on nice drives, communicates well with her, great lover, takes her to nice dinners, does all the nice things, right? Did nothing wrong. Not perfect. I'm not a perfect guy, but basically, I did nothing wrong. She has no reason to split up with me, right? And so now she's got to find a way out of this without having to admit that she wasn't ready for this or she made a mistake, right? So she tries to say that, I'd be open to coming out and seeing you once per month. I'm like, come on, that long distance stuff doesn't work. I said, but I still don't believe you. I said, you're not telling me something. You're not telling me something, right? So she ends up going on this trip. And I said, I'm not going to text her. I told her, hey, you want to text me once a day or every couple of days? That's on you, no problem. She left Saturday, no text Saturday, no text Sunday, no text Monday. I get a text on Tuesday. And she basically says, you don't know how much I've been thinking about you these past days, And she had said a nice, sweet text. I said, hey, no worries. Been thinking about you too. Just reach out to me when you get back. And we'll talk when you get back. Okay. So I didn't hear from her for like another week. And then it was Thanksgiving Day. And I was contemplating whether I was going to send her a text on Thanksgiving Day or not. So I decided to send her a Thanksgiving text, and she sent me one back as well. Wished me a happy Thanksgiving. Then I waited another week because she was gone for 2 weeks. And I figured when she'd get back, she would text me. She told me she would, right? So I sent her a text a week later, and I say, hey, let me know when you get back. Are you back yet? Let me know when you get back. So she texted me back, not that night I texted her, but like the next day in the afternoon. She said, I'm back. And then I responded to her, would you like to talk sometime? And I haven't heard from her since. She told me she's back. Apparently women want, someone they've been with in the past, but no longer want to be with anymore. Apparently, at least she wanted to make me aware that she made it back home safely. That's very kind of you, ma'am. It is. But when I said, hey, can we talk sometime? We have unfinished business. We've been seeing each other, right? And all of a sudden you go on this trip. The day before you go on this trip, you tell me that your ex-husband all of a sudden wants to move to Texas. And now you're ready to move because he's ready to move and there's nothing happening there between the two of you. And he's still together with his ex. Something is not right here. I told her that. I said, something's not right. You're not telling me something. Granted, hey, I'd rather have you tell me that you're back with your ex and you're banging your ex and then we can have a clean break and move on. She said, no, that's not it. But see, this is the thing about women in that situation. Women are looking for the best possible option. They want to leave their options open as long as possible, because when they're uncertain about something, okay, like in her situation, if her ex-husband gave her the time of day or they were able to work something out, that's something to her that she would probably value over our relationship that we had. And I've seen pictures of her ex-husband. He's not that attractive of a guy. And it has nothing to do with even physical looks. When you're emotionally attached to someone and you have a kid with someone, sometimes you do things and you prioritize that person in this situation, even though it's probably not the right thing to do, right? So when she's in that situation, she's trying to figure out, I've got this great guy here, good-looking guy, great lover, best sex I've had, great communicator. He takes me places. We talk. We get along. It's effortless. But now my ex is back in the picture, wants to move to Texas. And I live in the Bay Area. It's expensive. If I move there, I'll be able to save money. I also, if I'm going to be moving there, I'd want him to move there because I'd want our 12-year-old daughter to have her father around. You see how this whole thing just comes out of nowhere, right? And this woman didn't know this before she started dating me. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. But whether she did or didn't know, why didn't she communicate this with me? Why? Because if she did, I would have never given her the time of day. She was uncertain about the future. And all of a sudden, her ex knows that she's dating someone new. Do you not think for a second that her ex didn't plan this? I even told her that. I'm like, I think your ex may be jealous of me, possibly. And listen, I'm not going to play these games. But it's ironic to me how we start seeing each other. We're both very happy. And next thing you know, he all of a sudden wants to move to Texas after you've been trying to get him to move there for 2 or 3 years. But all of a sudden you start seeing me and now he's ready to move. That's just too coincidental for me. Too coincidental. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. So yeah, so she ghosted me, right? And listen, people get ghosted. That happens to a lot of people. Like I'm not getting ghosted because I'm Eli. I'm getting ghosted because that's what people do nowadays. That's what women do nowadays, especially if you're a good guy and they have no reason to break up with you, especially if someone else comes back into the picture from the past and they're more emotionally attached to them. That's what women do. They'll go back to the last person if they come back because they have a stronger emotional bond, especially if you're in a relationship with them in the first month, right? But guess what? Guess what happens in a lot of these cases before I take a break? A lot of times what happens during these cases is that, it may work out for a little bit between the ex and her, but let me tell you, once you have problems with someone, those problems will come back at some point down the road. When she starts to realize that she made a mistake, what's going to happen? She's going to reach back out to good old Eli. Now, let me tell you, she's hot. She's also, I'm not saying she's a bad woman. She's a nice woman. She's not a bitch, okay? She's a nice woman, okay? And she's hot. And she likes the way I look too. We're very attracted to each other. And man, I love being intimate with her. But if she were to come back and say, hey, I miss you, I made a mistake, can we try again? I'd say no. I'd say no. You ghosted me. You didn't even have the decency to make me aware of what's really going on. You're thinking that if you just ghost me and not tell me what's going on, it's going to be easier for you, right? Now you want me back and you're still not being honest with me. And you want me to just kind of forget about the past, right? And put myself in the same situation with you again. Why would I do that? Why would I put myself in the same situation with you again when you would do that same thing to me again if that situation arose again? No, best of luck to you. No, there's not going to be a second chance because there was no communication. There was no communication. It was just a ghosting. That's all it was. Had she come out and told me something, hey, I need to figure this out. I need some time. Take all the time you need. No problem. I'm moving on. When you figure it out, if I happen to be single, maybe we can try again. But now that option's not even on the table anymore. Nope, it's not. All right, so we are, those stories took longer than I thought. We are at 1 hour and 5 minutes. I'm going to cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Give me a second here. All right, I'm going to cue up some royalty-free YouTube music, take a quick break, and then come back and share a couple more stories and get to this blog. So we're going to be here probably for another hour, so I know much you got to go to your hot date in just about 13 minutes. So let's cue it up. Give me a second here. Got 3 songs. Yeah, I feel like getting it fired up tonight. I'm going to come back to my favorite song. I think most of you that have been following me for a while know what my favorite song is. All right, folks. I'm going to step away for a quick 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. When we return, I've got a couple more stories to share with you. Then we're going to get to this blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today. It is titled Online, Too Many Dating Choices Decreases Commitment. It's a doozy. It's not that long, but it's a doozy. So we'll get to that after the break. So stick around. We'll be right back. We have lots and lots of options. I love the background, Mutt. I know you gotta go in a few. You got a hot phone date. Do you like the background, Mutt? I'm gonna slow it down before we ramp it back up. My favorite song, Coach Eli's theme song from his former channel when he used to run the Coach Eli Life show coming up. Yeah! Ethan Mixel with Double Helix from the YouTube audio library. Here we go. Love this song, love it, love it, love it. You feel the energy up, energy up. Don't let anything bring you down or get in the way of you. It's what I'm trying to say. Get what you want out of life. If something doesn't work out, keep on trying. You're gonna get there. Yeah! Woo! Yeah. Ooh, simmer down, coach. Simmer down, coach. Simmer down, coach. You got a show to run. Yeah. Whew. My God. Mutt says, welcome back. Night, we'll catch up later. And yes, love the background. All right, Mutt, have fun. Again, don't do something I wouldn't do and do everything I would do. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Navigate the Modern World with Coach Eli live here on YouTube. It is 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's time for Mutt to have a little fun. We'll leave it at that. 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time here in my neck of the woods. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, Northern California, San Mateo County, Redwood City to be exact, about 22 minutes south from YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California. Oh man, tonight we've got a very interesting topic, and I've had some very interesting stories to share with you folks. I've got two more interesting stories to share regarding my dating woos per se. That's coming right up here in a minute or two. But let's remind everyone what the topic of tonight's stream is. The topic is women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. Why this happens and can men prevent it? Hang on. All right, one more time. The topic of tonight's show is women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. Why this happens and can men prevent it? If you missed the first part of the show, check it out on the replay, because on my live streams I have the DVR or rewind function disabled because I want people to be here live and engage with the show. But I explained, why this happens, and I explained if it can or can't be prevented. And the answer makes sense because, once again, the truth of the matter is this. I love women. Don't get me wrong. I love women. I do. Women are fascinating and interesting creatures, but in the modern world, they become even more fascinating, more interesting, and a lot more, I'm going to be polite and say challenging to deal with. Not difficult, that may be too harsh. They become a lot more challenging to deal with. And it's harder to keep them around even if you do everything right, because they don't need men for survival anymore. Women are working, they're making their own money, like I've said. They're buying their own homes, their own cars, their own food, their own clothes. So what do they need us for? If they want to reproduce, they can go to the sperm bank. Sure, us guys have to go to the sperm bank and make a donation, right? But seriously, that's what we're up against nowadays. Like, because women are emotional beings, it's harder to keep them around because they have more options nowadays. That's why on my thumbnail, it says, women have too many options. They do. It's not a bad thing to have options, and I'm not criticizing women for having that many options, but because women are emotional beings, in my opinion, when they have more options, in my opinion, it confuses their emotions or clouds their emotions to sometimes make the right decision. I'm not saying women are not capable of making the right decision. They are. But, and I'm not saying that women can't be logical. They can be, but initially, women are always responding with their emotions first based on how they're feeling in the present moment. And that's how they are. And that's what makes things more difficult and challenging in the modern world. Like I said at the beginning of the show, back in the days of traditionalism, women were dependent on a man for survival. They had no choice but to try to get with a man, or they couldn't survive, right? So have women biologically changed? No, they have not changed. What's changed is the fact that they have more options. They have a lot of options. And in my opinion, too many options nowadays that really, with no disrespect, ladies, confuses the heck out of you, right? A lot of times women don't know what they want. They think they know what they want. But then they take an action. They realize they make a mistake. Then they want to come back to, let's say the woman I was talking about before I went on the break. Let's say this woman realizes she made a mistake, ghosting me, goes off with her ex-husband. It doesn't work out. Now she's like, oh my God, I let go of a good guy. Can I get him back? Right. Now she's going to try to come back. And now I'm not all about having the power. I don't care about that. Maybe to a little certain extent, sure. But now I have the power. Now it's like, oh, do I take her back or do I not take her back? What's the right thing to do in that situation? Sweetheart, you had your chance. You didn't even communicate with me. I can't trust that you're going to be around. I don't want to get back into something with you when I know the moment something better that you perceive as better or, clouds your emotions, you're going to run off and it's going to be the same thing. I'm not going to put myself in that position again. And see, a lot of ladies are not realizing that. They're not realizing when they let go of somebody amazing to go back to someone or get with someone that they perceive to be better at that present moment, because that's how their emotions are feeling based on how this other guy, that's come in the picture is getting to them emotionally. That's what we're dealing with today, folks. That's why I keep saying a lot of men that understand this are just not getting into serious relationships because they know most of the time this is how it ends up. It's how it ends up. All right. So let's get to the other two stories here that I'm going to be sharing regarding two women that I recently communicated with this past week on Match.com. I kind of mentioned one of the stories on a stream earlier on in the week. I'll mention it again because it makes sense for the topic. I was talking with this woman that I messaged on Match. I saw her profile. Great profile. She's cute. She's in the medical field. And, she loves helping people like I do. And it seemed great. We were communicating through text messages, the Match.com message system first. Then we traded numbers. We were exchanging text messages. And then we got to the phone. And to make a long story short, because I already mentioned this earlier on in the week, she asked me a lot of questions. I asked her questions. And it seemed like things were going great. And all of a sudden, about an hour, little over an hour into it, she comes down and says, Eli, I don't think you're the right guy for me. I'm like, okay, no worries. Why do you think that? Now I'm just curious because now I'm going to make content out of you. That's what I do. When things don't work out, I share my stories and make content out of it so other guys and women also can learn. If you want something to work, this is what you don't do. This is not how you treat people, right? Okay? She goes, Eli, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. You're a good-looking guy, and it sounds like you have your stuff together. You have a lot of energy. It sounds like, you are fun. and you enjoy doing great things and you're trustworthy and you're reputable. You're just not the right guy for me. And I said, well, if you say I'm a good looking guy, I have my stuff together or shit together, like they call it, and everything is there, then why am I not the right guy for you? I'm not asking you to try to change your mind. I'm just curious to know, because what you're telling me doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? She goes, well, the type of guys I usually go for are guys that are a little more soft-spoken, a little bit more softer around the edges, a little bit more relaxed and laid back. And I'm not saying that, you're not a relaxed guy. It's just that, I more so want to be with a guy that's just, more, and I cut her off and I said, you want to be with more of a feminized man is what you're saying. It sounds like to me, you want to be with more of a beta male feminized man, because it sounds like to me, I'm too masculine for you. And she goes, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's just I'm attracted to guys that are, a little bit more on the softer, quieter side of things. Well, look, I'm going to end this call here in a few minutes. I'm just telling you honestly, it sounds like to me that dating has become a power struggle for you. Sounds like to me that because you go to work, and we even talked about this at the beginning of our conversation. She goes, when I go to work, sometimes I've got to be, straightforward and almost be a little bit cranky with my clients and be firm with them. And I come off like being the B word, because if I don't, they're not going to trust me and they're not going to, believe me that what I'm saying is the right thing to do. So when I'm at work, I have to have, this authoritative attitude. I'm like, I understand that. I get that. A lot of women have to do that. A lot of women are doing jobs nowadays that once only men would do. And these jobs require women to exude more masculine energy than feminine energy. But when you come home to your guy, like dealing with a guy like me, like I'm a good guy, but I'm a man. And if you're a woman that, is going to come home and can't turn off the masculinity and be more feminine than masculine, the sexual polarity is going to be reversed and it's not going to work. I said, this is, no matter what you say, ma'am, and I called her by her name, I'm not going to dox her. So no matter what you say, basically you want to wear the pants, because that's how you were raised in today's society. You were raised to be so independent that you want to be in full control of everything, including your relationship. And I said, ma'am, here's the thing. I'm a masculine man and I'm more of a dominant man than submissive, but I'm not the type of guy, I'm not a control freak, and I'm not looking to be with a woman to control her. I'm looking for a woman to be my equal. Okay? But at the same time, I want to be with a woman that recognizes I'm a man and you're a woman. And if you're a woman that's going to come at me with, the majority of your energy coming up more masculine, that's not going to work. So it sounds like to me, you like these softer spoken guys because you have more control of the relationship. And you don't want to be with a man that is a real man. And she goes, no, that's not it. You just don't get it, right? Ma'am, I'm going to end this call right now because there's no need to talk further. I appreciate the time to get to know you. But yeah, just realize, see what happens down the road. Continue dating these guys that I consider to be feminized men and see how long they last. See how long it takes for you to get irritated that they're not manly enough for you and that you can control them. And then you lose respect for them. And then you fall out of love with them. And then eventually you leave them. And you're going to keep going round and round and round this vicious cycle. If that's the type of man that you're seeking, then ma'am, obviously you want to wear the pants and none of your relationships will ever work. And if you stick around with a guy like that, no disrespect, those are nice guys, but they're not masculine men. And women are attracted to masculine men. Women, no matter what they say, no matter how much they try to act like men and be masculine nowadays, Women are attracted to a man's strength, their physical strength, their emotional strength, right? If a woman perceives you to be less emotionally strong than her, then it's not going to work out. Women are attracted to the emotional strength of a man and repelled by the emotional weakness of a man. You see, what happened with this woman is that I was too good for her. I'm not saying I'm the greatest thing in the world, but I was too good for her, right? She knew if she got in a relationship with me that she was not going to get away with any of the BS that she probably gets away with these beta males, with these feminized men, right? But at the same time, she's a 39-year-old woman that is single and wants a guy. She told me she wants to be married within a year. And she asked me before we left, well, I forgot to mention this. She goes, are you open to getting married within a year? If it's with the right person, sure, I'm open to whatever. I want true love and happiness. Now you're asking me that after you're saying that, you don't want to be with me even though I'm a good dude and you're attracted to me and you like all my qualities. You don't want to be with me just because I'm a man? I'm a real man? That's what we're dealing with nowadays, right? So I let her go. And in my head I'm like, there's another one. There's another one that's been victimized by the modern day system. Her own, how do I say this the right way? Her own the feminine agenda, her own feminine agenda is backfiring on her. Because she's coming across good guys. If she didn't perceive me to be a good guy, she would have never, communicated with me through Match. She would have never given me her number and never wanted to talk. But because of the system that she's been brought up in and the way the workforce is nowadays for women, she doesn't understand what it takes to get a good man and keep a good man around. So instead, she's going to go after beta men. No disrespect, it's just the truth. Beta men, blue-pilled beta men that will put her on a pedestal and will succumb to all of her wants and needs. She thinks she wants that. And when it happens, she'll see that it's going to turn her off because the guy's not man enough for her. And maybe after a few more times, after she goes through a few other guys like this, she'll realize the one she let slip away could have been the one, right? But even if she comes back, which I doubt, but let's say she comes back to me, I'm going to say, ma'am, you had your chance. It's too late. By that point, I'll probably be with somebody else anyway, right? Lewis Fuller says, I'm back in the stream. Lewis Fuller says, Nuts World, I just sent you my sister's YouTube link, so pass it on along so you can pass. I've already made her a moderator here, Lewis. She's just not showing up. Lewis, Adele's channel, I think it's Adeline or something like that, right? I modded her, bro. If she wants to come in the chat right now, she can chat. I've had her modded for over an hour now. It's all good, bro. It's all good. All right, one more story before we get to this blog. And this one happened yesterday. I had a woman on Match.com initiate contact with me. She messaged me. First, typically it's the guy always taking the first initiative, approaching the woman either in person or online or whatever. This woman saw my profile and messaged me. When that happens every so often, that's a good sign that she has a high level of interest. She's physically attracted to me. She likes my profile and wants to get to know me, right? So we send a few messages back and forth. We trade numbers. We start texting throughout the day. And last night we set up a phone conversation. And her and I were talking. And one of her messages, she said, I've had such bad luck with guys that, I'm starting to run background checks on guys. And I just responded, okay, cool. No worries. I got nothing to hide. And I'll be honest with her. I'll tell her everything that's on my background. It's clean as hell, right? And I'll tell her everything about the past on my background, right? Hold on a second. Is this still running? I was saying no data a second ago, but I think we're good now. Is the stream still going through okay? Adelaide. Okay, thank you so much. Have her come in and check out and see if it works. It should work. That way, Lewis, if it's not working, I can fix it before the next stream. But I added her as a mod, so she should be able to come in here and chat. All right, so her and I get on the phone. And what do? The first thing I say is, look, I want to be transparent with you. Let me tell you everything about me that you're going to see on a background check and everything you're going to see about me doing a Google search. I told her I'm a YouTuber. I told her about the trolls and haters. I told her about all the hateful videos people have done on me. I told her my experiences. I told her about my coaching business, my former insurance business. I told her about everything. Everything. I said, hey, look, I'll even send you a copy of my background check. Like, I shouldn't really have to do that. And she didn't even ask me. I just offered that up from the very beginning because this woman approached me. She seemed nice. And I just wanted to make her feel like she could trust me, right? So I just offered everything up. And I'm like, okay, why not approach it this way with this woman? Tell her everything that could be a deal breaker up front to see if it's even worthy of talking longer than 15 or 20 minutes with her to get to know each other, right? Because what most people do, they start talking about other stuff, and then they get to the stuff that could be a potential deal breaker an hour or two in the conversation, and then the chick says it's not going to work for me, then you wasted 2 hours of time. Why not get down to the nitty gritty and talk about what could be a potential deal breaker first, and then if she wants to continue, you want to continue, then go for it, right? So we were talking. She goes, I wasn't going to run a background check on you. And I'm thinking in my head, is she just BSing me because I just said that? Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. I don't care. She goes, I was just joking about the background check. I'm like, whether you're joking or not, look, I have nothing to hide. This stuff, I'm going to tell you what I do. You're going to need to know my full name. And most people run a Google search, and you're going to find this. And I'd rather tell you what's out there so it's a bunch of BS that the trolls and haters on YouTube have done than you finding out on your own and thinking that I'm some crazy guy, all because of what some people have said about me online, right? So I offered all that up, right? She was cool with that. She was fine, right? Then we start getting into it. We start talking. I start sharing about my family and everything. I'd ask her some questions, and she was kind of vague with her responses, right? And then I asked her, I said, how important is romance and intimacy to you? This is like an hour into it, right? How important is romance and intimacy to you? I don't typically like talking about this on a first conversation, but I've realized that, if someone is not open, to romance and intimacy and they're afraid to talk about it, it's just not going to work. It's not everything, but it's one aspect of the relationship. Okay. There's the mental, emotional, spiritual, and the physical, right? And she goes, yeah, no, when the time is right with that right person, that's fine. I'm not some prude, but I just don't sleep with anyone. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's great. I said, have you had some bad experiences in the past? Like what you told me she had told me she had some experiences in the past to the point of where, she wanted to be a little more careful. I said, why don't you tell me about one of your experiences? Like, what happened? Was this guy not man enough? Was he a feminized man? I'm beginning to see a pattern here with women. Either they go for feminized men, they give feminized men a chance, and then they realize that man's not strong enough for them, and then they lose respect for that man. They get turned off. They fall out of love with them, and then they leave him. Or they give a man like me a chance, and then they're intimidated by a strong man because they themselves want to be the strong woman and wear the pants nowadays because of the way the modern world has, made women to be, right? So it's like you almost can't win either way, right? it's almost like you can't win either way, because the beta guys are not going to be able to make them feel the attraction that an alpha male will feel. But when the alpha male, did I say it the right way? The beta guy is not going to be able to make the woman feel the same attraction that the alpha male is going to make them feel. But at the same time, these women are afraid to be with alpha males because they feel the alpha male is going to be too dominant, too strong, and they want to be in the position of power, right? And they can be in that position of power with the beta males, but not the alpha males. See, that's what's happening nowadays, right? So this woman told me, she goes, the last guy she was seeing, they went out several times, and she goes, we were in a situation, we were making out, and, he wanted to get intimate with me, but I just stopped it. I said, you stopped it? Yeah, I just stopped it. I didn't feel ready to let it happen. I said, okay, let me ask you something. Is this guy like a feminized man? Was he like a beta male? Was he lacking self-confidence? Was he coming off insecure and mature? Oh no, he was a very attractive man. He was an executive, at this company, good looking, confident, but good guy, not a sissy, just a really good guy, had his stuff together, and just nothing wrong with him, just a good dude. I'm like, so you're telling me you went on a date, on several dates with this guy, and after a few dates, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates, you got into a situation where it was getting hot and heavy. You were starting to make out, you were starting to kiss, and one thing was leading to another, and he was trying to be intimate with you, but you basically stopped it, right? I said, let me ask you this. Were you attracted to him physically? Yes, he was very good looking. Did you like his personality? Yes, he was a really good guy. He was just a really decent guy, not a pushover. He was a strong alpha male, but, not conceited, just well balanced, just a really, really good dude. I couldn't ask for anything more. I said, listen to yourself. You've got pretty much the guy of your dreams that wants to rip your clothes off and be intimate with you, because that's what people do when they're in a relationship and they're attracted to each other. And you're saying that you're not ready for that. She said, you know what? I had gotten out of another relationship and I just didn't feel I was ready for that with anyone. Then, ma'am, why did you put yourself in a situation to go on many dates with this guy? So in essence, you were attracted to him, you liked everything about him, but you were afraid to have sex with him because of what happened in the past, or maybe you felt it was too soon. She goes, there was just something wrong with me at that point. It had nothing to do with him. So right then and there, I was like, hey, Adelaide's Advice Addict. Hey, welcome. We got our brand new moderator. You're back. You're modded now. You can chat here for free. Let's give her a big round of applause before we continue the story here. Welcome to the show. I'm sure you know that some people may end up trolling you, but you know how to block them, right? Excuse me. You know how to block them, right, Adelaide? Anyway, welcome. Glad to have you on board. And I look forward to getting on some panels with you and Lewis. We had Lewis on a panel yesterday with Muttnuts World, Furious Reactor Gaming, and Firewolf Studios. It was a great show. But thank you for being here. But back to the story. Okay. Yes, Lewis. That is thank you. Yes, I figured that, Lewis. Thank you for making that very clear, brother. Lots of love to you too. Yeah, you're welcome, Adelaide. So back to the story, right? So at this point, I was like, I just invested over an hour talking to this woman. And it's going along well. She told me, she goes, she's attracted to me. Obviously, she reached out to me. She sent me the first message on Match.com. She initiated contact. She likes how I look physically. She likes my profile, how I'm direct, honest, and that I know what I'm looking for, right? But after an hour plus, and then hearing her tell me her story about how she was in a romantic situation after like 4 or 5 dates with a very attractive man with a great personality, a real man, everything she ever wanted, and the guy tried to escalate intimacy with her, and she said, no, you're not getting it today. You're not getting the P, right? I'm not going to say what it is. You're not getting the P. No P for you. I don't want to say it to get demonetized. You ladies know what the P is. Us guys call it that, right? In my head, I was like, this woman's like dangling the carrot, right? This dude's a good dude, just wants to have a chance with a good woman, wants to just be intimate because that's what people do when they're in a relationship and they're starting something, and this woman is dangling the carrot, and I'm like, I ain't putting up with this. So I told her, I said, is that how you are? Like, like I am a very intimate person, and I want to be with someone that's not afraid to express themselves intimately. And she goes, well, when if things work out and the time is right, she goes, I'm not prude. Don't get me wrong. I'm not prude, but I just want to make sure that it's with the right guy. See, a woman that's going to be skeptical and dangle the carrot like that is going to say, I just want to make sure it's the right guy. A woman that's not afraid to express herself sexually when the time is right will not even mention that at all, right? So this woman was basically raising red flags to the point of where if I started dating her, it would be like 20 dates before I'd get to second base. And I'm like, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm a dude. I love intimacy. I want to be with a woman that if it feels right after a few dates, let's get down. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to mess around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's shut this. You know what? All these clowns. Can I get a witness? Right? Let's get down to business. Right? This woman was 52. I just turned 47. I ain't got no time to mess around. What is this? What is this, kindergarten? So I said, look, I don't want to get into a relationship and me be in that same situation and you do the same thing to me. She goes, when the time is right, it would just happen. Like, just let it happen naturally. I'm like, I understand that. But now I'm concerned because you had the perfect guy. And there was no reason for you to shut down that situation. You said you liked the guy, he liked you. The attraction was all around. There was no reason for you to shut that down. How do I not know you're not going to do that to me? And now, like, I don't even feel it's worth me investing the time to go on a few dates with you because if it gets to that point, I'm not. If you did that to me, that would annoy me more than anything, and I don't want to put myself in that situation at all. And I said, look, man. I said, also, you have not really opened up to me. You haven't told me anything about your family. You haven't opened up to me personally about anything. Why are you not sharing as much with me? I like to listen more, and share more when we meet in person. We need to leave something for when we meet. I said, ma'am, I'm not going to meet someone that's not going to be open with me on the phone. Like, if you're closed off with me right now on the phone, then I'm not going to want to meet someone like that. So if you want to open up and share some things with me, please go right ahead. Allow me to learn about you to the point of where I feel like it's even worthy meeting you for the first date, right? But she didn't do that. So I said, let me tell you something. I'm gonna let you go. I see how this is going. This is probably not going to work out. I think you're a good woman. I just think you got your guard up a little bit too high. And you're afraid to take a chance. And I want to be with someone that's ready. So I'll tell you what. I'll give you a day. Take whatever you need. Okay? I'm going to let you go. If you want to talk tomorrow, then you reach out to me. But if we're going to talk, I want you to understand that I'm going to ask you questions and I want to get to know you. And if you're not ready for a relationship and everything it entails completely, including romantically and being open and upfront on the phone, about the same things that I share about myself with you, then it's not going to work. So it's up to you, if you want to reach out tomorrow and talk. She goes, I hope you want to talk with me tomorrow. That's what she said. I hope you want to talk with me tomorrow. Guess what? It's almost 24 hours later. And guess what? No call. She's not going to call. She knows. She knows I called her out. She knows that I'm not going to sit there and put up with her waiting game and put up and be this beta male conformist guy that's going to go on a bunch of dates with her until she comes to a realization that she's comfortable enough to be intimate. Hell no. No. No, 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 no. No. No, no. Not going to work for me. So that's what you're dealing with nowadays, guys. Those are the types of women, with no disrespect, I love women, but that's what you're dealing with. That has nothing to do with me. I'm secure within myself. I'm confident within myself. I'm happy within myself, and I love myself in a non-selfish way. I love who I am. I honestly think, and I'm not saying I'm all that, but I honestly think I'm just too manly for these women. I'm too much of a man for these women. These women nowadays either want a beta male, feminized, conformist type of man, which they think they want that, but once they get that guy is going to not cut it. They're going to not be able to trust his masculine core because he's not masculine enough. He's more feminized. They're going to lose respect for him. They're going to fall in love with him. Then they're going to leave him. And that cycle's going to repeat. They're going to wonder, where are the good men? There aren't any good men left out there, right? So they either want that or, let's say they meet a guy like me. They like who I am initially, but then when they realize that they're not going to get away with anything with me because I'm a real strong man and I'm not going to put up with the BS, that they can play on the betas, then they eliminate me. They eliminate me not because I'm not attractive enough or manly enough. It's because I'm too attractive and too manly. It's pathetic. It's ridiculous. All right. I didn't think I was going to have to do this, but I'm going to take another break because I need to refill my coffee and get a little water. These 4 stories I shared between the first segment and the second segment took longer than I thought. So I'm going to take another 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. And then I'm going to come back and get into this blog. And the blog's only going to take about 15, 20 minutes when I get back. I just need the rest of my voice for a few. What do you folks think about those stories? If you want to share your thoughts in the chat, I would love to hear what you think and be honest. Be very honest. Cool. The stream just hit 100 views. Awesome. Awesome. Excellent. All right. So let me queue up some more royalty-free YouTube music. Just need a couple of more. What else do I want to play? All right, folks, music's all queued up. I'm going to step away for another 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. When I get back, when we return, I'm going to get right to the blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today. The blog title is called Online, Too Many Dating Choices Decreases Commitment. So keep it locked here. Stick around. We'll be right back. Love it. Feel it, man. Feel it. Feel it, man. Feel it, girl. Feel it, everyone. Feel it, one. Feel it all. Woo! Too many options nowadays. Too many options. Yeah. It's another song by Ethan Mixell called In the Shadows for the YouTube audio library. Yeah. Slow it down once again. Slow it down once again. Slow it down. Yeah. Feel it, man. Feel it, gal. Feel it, one. Feel it all. Whew. Wow. What a show tonight. I gotta tell you, what a show tonight. Oh man, I just hope these can change one of these days, because yeah, it's an interesting world we live in right now. Very interesting world we live in. Yeah. Oh yeah. Lots and lots of options. Look behind me. Lots and lots of options. So many. We're flooded with options. What do we do? Right? What do we do? Well, I'm going to help you figure it out. That's what I'm here. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli live here on YouTube. It is 11:18 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:18 Pacific Time in my neck of the woods in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we have a very interesting topic we've been discussing here tonight. We've been talking about women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. Why this happens, and can men prevent it? One more time. Women ghost good men nowadays without notice or explanation. Why this happens, and can men prevent it? If you missed the first two parts of this show, this is part 3. Go back and check out the replay. Like I've said before, I'll say it again. You're not able to rewind because I have the DVR function or rewind capabilities disabled here on my channel, because I want people to be communicating and watching while it's actually live. But if you missed the first two parts, go back and check out the replay, because I shared some very important, very interesting information that if you all, just let it soak in and maybe play it back 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, whether you're a man or a woman, you'll understand it. I mean, look, this is not a stream to bash women. I love women. Don't get me wrong, I love women. But part of the reason why women are single and they're saying, why aren't there any good men left in this world, is because of how you're showing up. Are you allowing love to happen? Are you allowing a man to get to know you? Are you allowing yourself to be vulnerable so a man wants to pursue you and be with you and create that happiness that you want? You have to understand, ladies, that half the battle is you ladies allowing us to come into your world. It's one thing for you to be attracted to us physically and like what we made out of ourselves based on our purpose. It's another thing to put a guard up and be overly cautious to not let us come in and show you that we are that kind of person. That's half the battle right there. The other half of the battle is we've got different types of men nowadays. We've got feminized men and we've got masculine men, right? And because there are so many strong, empowered women in the world nowadays, a lot of men don't know how to handle that, and they feel the only way they can connect with these women and relate to them is by succumbing to the fact that these women want to wear the pants and be stronger. So you feel the need to be more submissive and beta, so they give you a chance. I used to be like that in my younger days. Let me tell you something. You lose every time, guys. You lose every time, because at the end of the day, whether women want to wear the pants or not, whether you want to be a feminized or masculine man, at the end of the day, this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters, no matter what. Women are attracted to the emotional strength of a man. and they are repelled by the emotional weakness of a man. Even the strong, confident women today that are empowered and feel the need that they want to wear the pants and they want to run their relationship and they want to run everything. Even for those women, they are attracted to the same thing about men. They think they want the beta male, like that one woman I was talking with. I shared her story during the second part of the show. It was the first story I shared. Go back and check that out. It was interesting, right? She thinks she wants a feminized, more soft beta male. But once she gets into that relationship with him, she's going to feel like there's something wrong here. Like this guy's not man enough for me. Like I can control him and have my way with him. There's nothing interesting about him, right? So again, regardless of how you show up as a man or a woman, okay, the only thing that works to bring the proper sexual polarity between a man and woman is this. A man needs to be masculine, a woman needs to be feminine. That's it. And women are attracted to the emotional strength of a man, and they are repelled by the emotional weakness of a man, and women are also repelled by weak, needy, desperate, and insecure men. Weak, needy, desperate, and insecure men. And if you're a strong alpha male like myself, and you come across one of these women that says I'm looking for more of a softer spoken man, in essence, that's your cue to say, hey, I'm not the right guy for you because I'm too manly for you. And, you feel like if we got into a relationship that I would try to control you and do this and that. No, I just want to be a man and I just want a woman to be a woman. That's the bottom line. If you come across a woman like that and you're a strong, confident alpha male like myself, you gotta stay away from these women. And let them figure it out over the course of time when they go through so many failed relationships, why they're not getting what they want. That's it. That's the bottom line. All right, before I get to this blog here, let's see. Lewis Fuller says, good night, everyone. See you guys later. I will be going live tomorrow morning. Great, at 9 a.m. Central Time. Great, that's 7 a.m. my time. If I'm up, Lewis, I'll be there. If not, I will catch the replay, bro. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have yourself a great night. All right, let's switch over to this blog here and get right to it. All right, so the title of this blog is Online, Too Many Dating Choices Decreases Commitment. One more time, online, too many dating choices decreases commitment. It was written by Wendy L. Patrick, JD, PhD. Why Bad Looks Good. She's pretty cute, too. Look at that picture. Oh, okay. I like a cute psychologist or doctor. She's probably a psychologist. Okay. Facing not fraud, but fortune. How to screen the abundance of romantic riches. Yeah, you got to screen people out. Nowadays, you got to go through 10 times as many fish as you used to find one that's going to be decent, right? Because of everything I've talked about on this show here tonight. All right, this was written on May 28th, 2017, about, 3.5 years ago. Still very relevant to this day. Still very relevant. Particularly for busy professionals, online dating has evolved from a novelty to a necessity. Absolutely. People are more so meeting online than in person. That's because men and women are both working. People don't have as much time to go to the bars, the clubs, social events, and all that. Plus, when you meet people online, people write what they want and don't want, or they should write what they want and don't want. And that way you get a better idea of someone. And you can also, message people back and forth and talk on the phone and get a good idea about who someone is and what they look like and what they're looking for before you even meet. When you meet somebody blindly, it's all about physical attraction. At least online, you have more data on them, right? That's just the way it goes. Absolutely. So, yet with so many options, online dating can be time-consuming given the enormous amount of potential partners to choose from, right? It can be time consuming if you allow it to consume your time. You see, for me, the time consuming part is not connecting with women. I can send messages and get responses and get women that are interested. The time consuming part is when these women, come off a certain way, to try to lock you down, get you on a phone call and get you to meet them so they get what they want and try to make you what they want. When they get on the phone with me, they don't realize that I'm not a beta male. I am not a conformist. I am not a guy that's manipulated. And I understand female nature, and they can't play their game on me. So when they come across a guy like me, okay, because women are always going to naturally test men. They're going to give men the S test. You know what the S test is, right? See, for me, I S test women. I give women the S test, and if they don't pass my test, then they're out. And women I'm a very intuitive guy, whereas most other guys are not that intuitive. All women are naturally biologically intuitive, right? And see, after talking with a woman for a while, like some of the women I talked about earlier on in my show where I shared my experiences, after talking with them for a while, their intuition tells them the type of guy I am. Like that woman that said she prefers to be with more of a softer spoken guy, okay? She told me, you're an attractive guy, you're good looking, you got your stuff together, you seem like a great catch, but I'm more so looking for a softer spoken guy, right? That woman used her intuition and realized that if she got into a relationship with me, that she would not be able to pull any fast ones on me. And she apparently wants to be with a guy that she can get away with certain things or everything. That's the truth of the matter, right? So you get to the phone with these women, and that's where the time wasting happens, because when you're reading a profile or you're exchanging messages or texting, these women will come off like they're really into you and they're easy to get along with. Then you get to the phone, then it's a whole new world. Then you start showing them how much of a man you are by just being a cool, down-to-earth, confident guy. And then all of a sudden, their intuition kicks in and they're like, this may not be the right guy. Oh, it's a little too much for me. Well, am I too manly for you? I'm not going to let you get away with controlling me or dominating me. I'm like thinking in my head, are you female or male? I'm a man, you're a woman. What do you want, right? So that's where the time wasting happens. Yet with so many options online, dating can be time consuming given the enormous amount of potential partners to choose from. The challenge in modern times for many users is not dishonesty, but decision making. Well, it's dishonesty too, blog author. Let's be real about it. It's dishonesty, but even more than that, it's women wanting to be in control, women wanting to wear the pants and not realizing that the type of men that they're attracted to are the ones that are dominant and wear the pants. So these women, instead of giving the right guy a chance, the dominant guy that would do it for them, because they know they want to be able to control the dominant guy, they instead give the less confident beta male type of guy who's weak, needy, desperate, and insecure because they can have more control. But they don't realize in the long run that guy's not going to cut it for them, right? So then they end up in this endless loop of, dating men and they go around in the thing called, they go round and round in something called the carousel. I'm just going to call it the carousel. I'm not going to say the other word because it will get me demonetized. They go around the man carousel and then they say there aren't any good men left, right? Whereas when a guy like me comes around, they eliminate me because I'm too manly for them. My laugh is atrocious, but I love it. Too many items on the menu may decrease commitment, right? And even if they find a good guy, like myself, for example, they're always looking to find someone better. Women are hypergamous. Hypergamy means women are always seeking out the strongest male. And even when they feel they found one, they always are seeking for someone better, whether they tell you they're doing it or not. Even if they're not looking for that guy, if that guy sort of just pops in their life, in everyday life, and they start to have a conversation and she starts to feel like this guy is a better fit, while she's dating you, guess what happens? Her feelings start to change. And you know how that goes. I don't have to get into that. Have you ever lunched at a deli? Oh, sorry, have you ever lunched or had lunch at a deli with so many menu items, it was virtually impossible to order? Yeah, you go to these delis and they have like 65 different sandwiches. And then you're like, they all look good. Let me have one of each, right? When you finally manage to make a choice, you are lukewarm about your selection, eyeing nearby tables to see if what other dinners ordered looks better than the choice you made. Right. So when you have so many choices, it's more difficult to settle for one, right? Because you wonder, hey, if I get this sandwich, it looks like it's the best sandwich. And it appears that it would be the best tasting and satisfying sandwich. But I'm always going to wonder how the rest of the sandwiches are tasting. It's the same thing with online dating. And both men and women are guilty of this, but I think more so women are like this. Women are much more hypergamous than men, naturally. So with women, when they find that one right guy, they're always wondering if there's a better fit out there. That's another reason why guys aren't committing anymore, because it's just harder to keep a woman, I don't want to use the word locked down, but that's the word. It's harder to, have a commitment with a woman and her be faithful to you. Now, some guys have a hard time being faithful, but I'm telling you about the good guys that believe in true love and happiness and that are faithful. It's hard to meet a woman that's going to be completely loyal and faithful to you nowadays because of this analogy here that the blog author just mentioned. For many singles, online dating fosters the same mindset due to the overflowing array of potential partners. Right. There's too much. It's like a meat market, right? You go into a meat market and you're like, man, all these slabs of meat look good. Like, I want it all, right? It's the same thing when it comes to the online dating world. This overabundance of options might lead to an objectification mindset and decreased desire to commit to a single partner. Right. You see, for me, I put in my profile, I'm only looking to talk to one woman at a time. Only want to talk to one woman at a time. If you're the kind of woman that wants to talk to multiple guys and date 4 or 5 guys at once and then finally select one, that's not going to work for me. And if you're going to do that, just don't tell me or don't give me any signs that that's happening, because the moment I pick up on it, I'm out. Peace out. It's not going to work. This mentality may cause daters to continue browsing dating sites while already in the relationship. Yeah, I know friends of mine that have done that. I know other women that have done that. I know women that have done that while dating me. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. A lot of times they'll do it when you go out on a dinner date with them. And they're checking Match.com messages while you're taking them to dinner and buying them dinner. It's ridiculous. In fact, just knowing how many options exist online can decrease commitment to an offline partner. Right. Right. It's sad. This whole thing is true. This is what happens. Yet, on the flip side, you hear women say, where have all the good men gone? There aren't any good men left out there. No, ladies, we're here. You just can't decide. And when you pick one of us, you're always looking to see if there's somebody better. So you lose focus on us because you're always thinking about the next best thing. Because there's too many options. Too many options. In addition, despite the often exhaustive presentation of background traits and characteristics, the process of online date selection fails to account for experiential components of relationship compatibility. Right. No one can adequately judge compatibility without live interaction. Right. Until you meet in person, you're not going to know. But you should at least have a good idea of where the person's head and heart is. And if they are a person that is able and capable of committing, if it feels right when you meet. Or are you just somebody they're hanging out with on a Thursday night because they have nothing better to do and they want a free dinner or free drinks, right? So no one can adequately judge compatibility without live interaction, and a less than stellar first date may prompt curiosity as to whether a different selection would be a better match given the plethora of options. Yeah, I just said that a second ago. That's what happens, right? you could actually, at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, you can be the best guy for the woman you're on a date with. You can be the best looking guy, make the most money, have the nicest car, the nicest house, have your stuff together, be a smart, intelligent guy, be the best lover, be everything, right? And she's still going to wonder if there's somebody better. So it doesn't matter how good you are. It matters, how much integrity that particular woman has you're dealing with. How much integrity does she have? How was she raised? Does she have morals, values, and ethics? Or is she just playing the field? You got to pick up on that fast. And for me, one phone call tells me everything I need to know about a woman. Like one phone call. I talk with them on Match.com, look at their profiles, we communicate, we trade numbers. We have one phone call. After that one phone call, I know everything I need to know about them. I know exactly what their intentions are and if it's worthy of me even meeting up with them for a first date. That's how intuitive I am. And a lot of them eliminate me. You know why? Because they know I'm that intuitive and they're not going to get away with anything with me. I'm a good guy, but I'm not going to let them play their game on me. And I don't want to be with the one that plays games anyway. So they're doing me a favor by eliminating me. Thank you. There is no incentive to settle with such a smorgasbord of options. Great word there, smorgasbord. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So why are women going to settle when they're getting 100 messages a day and they love the attention, no matter how good of a woman they are, right? That's what you're up against, guys. Narrowing down the choices, deal breakers, and other disqualifiers. With so many menu items, online daters use methods to narrow down the overflowing pool of applicants. Yeah. So they first have to like my profile, which is pretty direct, right? Then we need to trade numbers and then, exchange a few messages to see how that feels through Match. Then trade numbers, send a few texts, and then get on the phone. And then they need to pass my phone test. Once they pass the phone test, we meet together in person, and then I see how into me they are. And if they don't show me some sign that they're into me after that first date, that's where it ends. But it won't even get to a first date unless they show some interest or make me feel that they're worthy of my time on the phone. That's how it goes. While everyone is thankfully looking for different things, there are some common disqualifiers. Age difference has been identified as the biggest deal breaker when browsing online profiles. Yeah, I noticed with me, the women that have worked best for me are somewhere between the age of probably 39 and maybe 45. Seriously, like 39 and 45. The last few women I've dated with are in their late 30s and early 40s. So I'm 47. We are looking at about women that are about 5 to 8 years younger than me are typically the ones that are attracted to me and have given me a real honest chance. That's just my experience. Older women, it's never worked out. Never. I've gone on some dates, few first dates with some older women, and it's like they're always saying, well, we're much older. We're older than you even by 5 or 10 years. And some of these older women are hot and they're dateable and they're good people. It's just that, they're thinking like, okay, this guy's going to use us for sex and then he's going to get rid of us. Or a 5 or 10 year age difference is too much of a generation gap. These women find every excuse to disqualify men, and that's why they're single. That's the problem. Research indicates the negative effect that age may impact women to such an extent that they are up to 400 times less likely to view someone of undesirable age, even when all other factors are equal. Right. I've had older women say, you're a sexy guy, you got your stuff together, you got this and that. I'm just older than you. And I'm in a different place than you. Or I'm semi-retired and you're not. Okay. Well, if you have the full attraction to me and you disqualify me because of a little bit of an age difference, then go ahead and put yourself back out there and see if you can find another man that makes you feel as remotely close as, you felt when you first came across me. Good luck. Best of luck to you. Keep making excuses. Keep making excuses, and then at the same time say there aren't any good men left out there. That's that's great. Other deal breakers are failing to post a photo and smoking. Those I can understand those. Those are deal breakers. You don't have a photo, you're not even getting a message from me. And smoking, yeah, I've smoked in the past. I don't anymore. It's not necessarily a deal breaker for me, but I would prefer to date a woman that doesn't smoke. That's just my opinion. Other factors operate as disqualifiers. Common areas of incompatibility include religious differences. Okay, to a certain extent, I can kind of understand that, and I dealt with that. I think it's ridiculous, but yeah, some people want to be with someone with the same religion, especially a lot of the Jewish ladies I come across. They only want to date Jewish men. Express goals, having children, location, and other factors that allow you to screen out undesirable applicants before you develop feelings for someone with whom you do not realistically have a future together. All I'm going to say is this. Women make up excuses about everything. If they actually feel it for you or they're attracted to you, they're going to give you a chance. If they're in a good place, they're attracted to you, none of this matters. Attraction is a must. It is not a choice. When you get responses like age or distance or having children or any of that, right? It just means they're not into you. That's the bottom line. It's an excuse. It's like a nice letdown is what it is. Let me see how much more we have left here. Oh, we're getting close to the end. Let me check out the chat here real quick. We are good. Virtual honesty is a virtue. Thankfully, many people are truthful online about their statistics. A 115-pound svelte woman is unlikely to list 95 pounds on her profile. Some of them will. Some of them do lie. And if she advertises herself as a savvy career woman, she is unlikely to use her high school cheerleading photo, which in addition to her counteracting her professional image might make her look like jailbait. Yeah. Well, some people will catfish you, which is what they call it. But most people are reasonably honest with their profiles nowadays, especially on Match.com. I haven't really been catfished in a very, very long time. So that hasn't been a problem. But I get it. A 60-year-old woman with a different body type, on the other hand, may be motivated to fudge her numbers and use a dated photo. I've seen that happen too. I've seen women in their 50s and 60s have 3 pictures of them. If they're 60 now, they show pictures when they were 48 or 50, when they were hotter, right? They put those 3 pictures first, and then they put the ones that are 60 towards the end, and you can see the difference. There's more wrinkles and all that, and I'm not criticizing women on that. I'm just saying you can tell the difference. You can tell what they're doing. And they are deliberately posting their photos that way to make them appear more attractive. So that way they get the interaction, the phone call, then you meet up with them, and then you're like, oh my God, I got catfish. What the heck's going on here? But given the ultimate goal of moving a relationship offline, she is not going to post a photo. She's not going to post, I think she meant to say, not a photo that makes her look 25 years old or 25 pounds lighter. If you catfish someone nowadays, it's date over instantly. A career man showcasing his experience, credentials, and proficiency in his field is not going to shave a decade off his age because the math wouldn't work. Right, you got to be honest, because they're going to see what you look like when you meet them, right? Making the rest of his profile suspect. Right, you don't want to discredit your profile. You don't want women to not trust that what you're saying is true. Okay? Credibility counts, and it does. It does. And with women, the moment that they feel like you're BSing them, it's permanently done. inspiring many posters to ensure their profile is internally consistent and accurate when compared to their offline presence. You gotta be the same. What you put online needs to represent you offline because you're going to get tested. And I'm going to test women too to see if they're the same way as the profile says. For me, I'm exactly the same way. I'm the same person. I put it all out there. And that's how I show up and that's how I am. And I expect the same thing, when someone says something similar in their profile. Recognizing that we are our own worst critics, which is true, we are our own worst enemies, many online daters enlist the help of friends and family members in selecting a current photo and crafting the perfect online description. I do all that myself. A lot of the times women, especially older women, will get their kids, their teenage daughters, to take photos of them. Mom, you got to go put yourself back out there. Mom, do a side angle shot, show some booty, show some cleavage, right? I've talked to some women where their kids, their teenage daughters are telling her to look like a sex symbol. And you're seeing now 40 and 50-year-old women do these Instagram poses that 18 and 20-year-olds do. That's just immature to me. Just show some nice, professional pictures and some pictures of you in nature. Just normal pictures. You don't have to strut your stuff. You don't have to strut your stuff. Show enough so we know that you reasonably take care of yourself, but don't go and try to be like the Instagram, teenage supermodels. It's just ridiculous. And crafting the perfect online description. So then the same people, like in this case, the teenage daughters would tell the mother what to write in the profile to get the guy. Like they have a clue. They're teenagers. This collaboration is a winning solution because our inner circle has a vested interest in helping us find the ideal romantic partner. But blog author, they don't always know. And it depends who it is. Quite frankly, I think the best thing to do is to write your own profile and be honest. Hey, I'm not looking to have my time wasted. I'm only looking for somebody that's ready for something real. I'm not looking for a pen pal. I'm not looking to text back and forth for a month. I want to meet and see if it goes somewhere. I want someone to go hiking with on the weekends and go on romantic weekend getaway trips, right? I want someone who's affectionate and romantic, someone who's loving and nurturing, someone who's a sweet, soft woman, but also at times, can carry her own when necessary. That's it. Be honest, and no one can write something about themselves better than yourself. That's my opinion. When it comes to sharing photos, the more the better. Yeah, you want to have at least, I'd say, 3 or 4 photos. There are many ladies that put one photo up and it's a face shot. I'm sorry. That's just not going to cut it. Ladies, show full body shots. Doesn't matter if you're large and lovely or slim and short or slim and tall or medium build or whatever women say nowadays, thin, muscular, athletic and fit, little more to love, right? What else? They have one that's called jacked. Large and lovely, right? BBW, right? Or big and tall is another one you see. Big and tall. Just show who you are, regardless of what you look like, and the right person will come to you eventually. You'll connect with the right person eventually. You put just a face shot, it's not going to work. Not going to work. A profile containing a variety of photos reveals not only physical authenticity, but relational diversity, as many posters share photos featuring family members, friends, and even pets. It shows that you live a good life, you're a normal person, you're not some weirdo, right? This is you just living your everyday life. Yes, I agree with the blog author there. Travel and leisure activities are similarly better displayed through photos instead of merely describing the text. Absolutely. Show these people what you do. If you're a guy, show the ladies what you do. Show a professional photo, then show a photo of you being playful, show a photo on the hiking, trail. Show photos that depict how you live your life. That's it. All right. Quality over quantity. Just because there are an abundance of choices does not mean you cannot make a safe, solid decision, or solid selection, I mean. After all, your online selection is only the first step to developing a relationship of offline satisfaction. Right. If you two start talking, that's just one thing. You got to take it to the phone and see if you can carry on a conversation for half an hour or an hour, and see how open you both are and how ready you both are. Guys, you can ask some questions to, women to get a better idea of where they're at emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. You do not want to go on a date with a woman that's guarded or has it in her head that guys only want one thing. Like, if you're going to be dealing with like some jaded, guarded women that are going to dangle the carrot and not open to allowing sex to happen if you click, I'm not going to go out with a woman like that. I want a woman that's open and ready for whatever's meant to be. Does it mean we're going to have sex right away? No, but if it's meant to happen right away and you shut it down because you're scared, then I'm out. Peace out. There are other women out there that aren't going to be that way. So why am I going to waste my time with you? And think about it, ladies. I mean, do you not want to be in an intimate relationship with a guy? So why are you holding back? Do you think that if you wait 5 days to sleep with a guy, that's going to give it a better chance of working out than if you sleep with him on the first or second date if it feels right? Come on now. Find out sooner than later what's really meant to be. And that's that. So that was a quick and simple article there. I'm going to go ahead and grab the link, and I'm going to share this link in the description section. So when you go and watch the replay, you're going to be able to see it there. Let me just add it in the description under source. And it has now been saved. All right, folks. Let me go back to full screen and start wrapping this up. We are at 2 hours and 42 minutes. Another long stream today. Wow. I'm really getting back into the groove. I'm doing some longer streams. I do want to do some shorter videos because it's a better way to reach a newer market. And, when you do shorter videos and streams, you have a better chance of having a higher average view duration, and YouTube will be more likely to promote your streams and videos to a newer audience. But, at the same time, I do have an existing audience, and I am beginning to rebuild with some of the people from the past. And if you really enjoy these streams, sometimes that are a couple, 2-3 hours, and they're informative to you and you like the stories, please let me know. Go to the description and email me at coacheli@coacheli.com, or make a comment on this video. Please like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications. I truly, truly want to help people here, folks, get a better grip on their lives. This world is a different place, and both men and women are struggling to connect regarding one of the most natural aspects of life that was meant to bring a man and woman together. Tonight, while I, shared my thoughts and feelings about my experiences regarding 4 women, I'm not jaded. I'm open and honest guy, and I've learned a lot. Is it frustrating because I truly want to find the right person? Is it frustrating, the process that I have to go through to find the right woman? And the process of filtering at the same time is not easy, because women are emotional beings, and you're not going to know how they are until you take that chance. At least till you get on the phone, you're not going to know, if they're jaded, if they're closed off, if they're dangling the carrot and they're not sexually open-minded, or they're scared to be intimate with somebody right away. You're not going to know until you get on that phone call. So you have to invest a little bit of time to see if that's the right person. But what I tell guys, and even women to do as well, is try to figure it out as soon as possible. If you can figure it out before you meet with someone in person, if you figure it out like I usually am able to figure it out on the first phone call, then that's going to spare you the headache of driving out to meet someone, getting all dolled up, spending gas, sitting in traffic, maybe buying dinner or coffee, or even just, even taking a hike. You still have to go out to meet the person, and, it still takes effort. Before you make that additional effort, try to figure out on a phone call, especially if you're meeting somebody online, to see if more than likely you're going to be able to get along in person. If you ask the right questions and you know what to look for and you listen closely to these women's responses, you're going to be able to make the right decision most of the time. So with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here and enjoy the rest of my night. I'm probably going to go take an Epsom salt bath and listen to the replay of this show, because I felt this was one of the better shows I've done in quite some time. I shared some great stuff. Again, if you miss any parts of the show, go back and check out the replay. I shared 4 interesting stories of my experiences that I feel could help all men and women have a better chance of accomplishing whatever their heart desires. You just listen to the stories, folks, and learn from my experiences and my mistakes. That being said, thank you, Lewis Fuller, for being here. Thank you to Mutton Nuts World for being here. Thank you to Furious Reactor Gaming for being here. Thank you to Firewolf Studios for being here, and anyone else that was watching behind the scenes. Thank you to Adelaide. I cannot pronounce your name. I'll get it down at some point. Thank you for being here as well. Have yourselves a great night, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.